welcome to today's episode of Your Talk Time with Lindsy Bivens
and Sonjia Pelton-Sam, where we bring together real people with real issues and we come up with real winning strategies and solutions.
Well, we have an exciting episode for you guys today. We have none other than Roderick Waddle with us today. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. So we want to jump right in. Please tell us more about you.
Me, 35 years old, entrepreneur at heart, currently working on building my real estate sales business, and a published author of the book, The Other Side of Money, Becoming a Person God Can Trust. Just, focused on, building that, getting the message out about this book, letting people know that they don't have to stay in that current situation that they're in, and that there's solutions from the kingdom for your financial situation.
Okay, so you just ran past that real quick. So we are going to put it on display for everybody. So tell us the title of your book again.
The Other Side of Money, Becoming a Person God Can Trust.
The Other Side of Money, Becoming a Person God Can Trust. So that's like a whole lot in the title alone.
Yeah.
Tell us, if you will, how you got started with this project.
How I got started, this book was first prophesied that I would write a book back in 2008.
Wow.
When I first heard it, I wasn't really feeling like, me write a book, I wasn't really, I didn't have the idea. The idea didn't start to come until about 2012. The other side of money, I was at a conference and I heard people saying the other side of money.
Yeah.
And they were talking about like moving from broke to rich, right, the other side. But the Lord gave me a different twist on that, and the other side of money is the person that has it.
Yeah.
So He gave me that, and I started writing it in 2013. And it took about 4 years to actually put it all together.
Yes.
And it came out 5 years later, actually, is when it came out. But it took 4 years to actually get the manuscript written.
Wow.
But we're here now.
Yes, we are here, a completed project. And you know what's so powerful about that is, just in your writing process, you said it took 4 years to write this book. Some people can fly through a project, but the fact that you labored over this, I think, says something too. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what was that process like?
You said the word labor. It was laborious.
Yes.
I would see the stories of people that would fly through, write a book in 90 days type of thing. And I was like, man, why can't I do that? But it wasn't for me to do it like that. I didn't try to force it. I made sure I dedicated time every day to it.
Yes.
And if it wasn't flowing, I didn't try to force it. And, I think that's what, and over the years, going through the process, the Lord just kept pouring out stuff like, in the process of time. It wasn't like I got the whole thing at once. And if I would have rushed it, I would have missed a lot.
So I almost want to play, devil's advocate for a minute. Would you say that you were becoming the person as you were writing this project?
And still becoming.
Yes. Okay.
Becoming,
Beautiful, beautiful.
And I think as you read the book, you can kind of see from the first chapter, I think the writing got a little bit more in depth throughout the book as well. You can tell it matured as it went through the book.
Yeah. So I'm kind of, I don't want to say it's not fair. I have read the book and it's very good, but I don't want to dominate right now. So I know Sonja's itching to ask a question.
So what is the biggest lesson that you've learned in the process of writing this book?
Be patient, and that's something that not only applies to writing, but just in life, period. I've missed so many things. I put myself in so many situations by just not being patient and letting things happen. Just don't force it. Be patient. But also be persistent at the same time. I know those two words might not go together. Patient and persistent at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that, patience and persistence. Can you go a little bit more in detail with that?
Well, being persistent, it's an attitude you have to have of getting it done, grinding it out, digging, But at the same time, be patient with, when the outcome actually comes. Sometimes we stop too short because we're not patient enough to let the results take place. So that's what I mean by that.
And nothing creates patience like tribulation for all the Bible scholars out there, right? Tribulation works patience.
Yeah, people pray for patience, but it's not something that you just get by osmosis.
Right.
Lord, give me patience. He'll put you in a situation where you need to exercise patience. It has to be exercised. It's like a muscle that you build.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would love to hear some more about your backstory. So the inspiration for writing the book. I know you mentioned you were prophesied to in 2008, right? So what about kind of the inspiration? Where did you draw inspiration from?
Yeah, it kind of came out of just being sick and tired of being in a struggling type situation. It's
Yes.
like this came out of, you know, turmoil and kind of struggling and just really came out of my hatred for poverty.
Yeah.
Right? And not like sleeping under the bridge poverty,
Yeah.
but I mean like poverty mindset. You see people self-sabotage themselves so many times. I've seen that a lot in my family, so it just came out of my disgust for, you know, for that type of situation. I'm tired of the cycle. And then these principles started to come, you know.
Yeah.
I made a study out of it to see what the Word of God said about it. And the Lord put it together like this.
Wow.
So you're building generational wealth.
Come on
Absolutely, that's what the plan is.
now. Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. So tell us, if you will, how did you stay motivated? So again, just if we focus on the things that you've been able to accomplish with your book and the writing process, even the publishing process, how did you stay motivated?
Really, the vision of the end. You know, I didn't get into it just to have a halfway written
Yes.
book or a halfway project.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
I know what I got into it to do,
Yes.
and that kept me motivated. You got to have a vision for what the end looks like. You got to be clear, because you know that this is not it when you're not there. Right?
Yes.
This is not what it's supposed to look like, so I got to keep going, and that keep you motivated. Even, you know, just not wanting to stay in your current situation. You know, you look in your rearview, you see that situation right there. It's like, oh, it's too close. I got to keep going.
Yeah.
You know, it was that type of situation for me.
Yes.
And it's still that type of situation for me. Just I got to keep it moving.
Keep pressing.
Right.
Right, do you want to go ahead and give us like a couple of examples of just situations that you knew motivated you and pushed you to the point of just, I have to get this book out, I have to help other people?
Well, it was past situations. When I graduated out of high school in 2001, 18 years later, I found myself in prison.
Wow.
You know, and doing an 18-month to two-year sentence.
Wow.
All right. So that's one of those things that keep me moving forward. Like if I stay still, I go under. You know, I already have an X on my back. I'm a black man
Yeah.
coming out of prison at 20 years old.
Wow.
You know, so there's just no turning back. You know, I gotta keep going. I gotta stay persistent and, you know, keep it moving. And that's and the vision of where I was is also in the vision of where I'm going. So anything in between that, I know I can't go backwards.
Yeah.
You know, so I gotta move to that to where I'm going.
That's a powerful testimony. And I know, especially our viewers, young black men, you know, there's something that you can say to them that maybe everybody can't say. If you could, even just right now, say something, give some point of wisdom for young black men, what would you say to them?
It's so much I could say, but if I could just say one thing, I would say, you know, whatever tenacity that you had when you were doing whatever got you in the bad situation that you're in, be able to shift that tenacity into something positive.
Yes.
You know, because I mean, just like the title of your conference, my message matters. Like your message matters. Like your life isn't it's not trash. Like it's not all gone to waste, right? It can be salvaged.
Yes.
You know, so use that and don't be afraid to share your testimony. Don't be afraid to own your situation. Like, look, I was there, I did it. You know, but now look where I am now.
Yeah.
And I think those type of stories are the ones that motivate people the most. Like, you know, you were here, you walked through this, but you came out and don't even smell like smoke. You know?
Yes.
Or
yes.
I might still smell like smoke, but I'm alive, I'm here, and I'm able to keep going. So that's what I would say, you know, keep it moving. You know, don't stay in the situation, and use your testimony to motivate others and even motivate yourself.
Yes, powerful. You definitely have a redemption story. It's powerful, and even I shared with you, you know, since we worked together on your project, that I was surprised because we had talked so many times and we had never had the conversation about your history, right? But when I landed on it in the book, what? Wait a minute, where did this come from? I was like, wait, okay.
That's good I don't look like what I've been through.
But and that's the point I wanted to make, that you don't look like what you've been through.
Praise the Lord.
And I think that alone, you being able to say that is powerful to young men, that your life can be transformed when you make a different choice.
Right.
Because I was surprised. I would never guess in a million years that was a part of your story.
Yeah.
Yes.
Praise the Lord.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I can say that on here, right?
Yes.
All right.
So So the other side of money, like give us just a little bit, just a nugget of the other side of money, like a piece of the book. Just tell us a little juicy part of what's in this, the other
Yes.
side of money book.
Well, I can't give you everything, but
Not everything, but just a
I
little
can
bit.
give you kind of well, the book goes from the first chapter is mindset, and it ends with multiple income streams. So it goes from mindset to multiple income streams.
Let's talk about mindset.
Yes.
Let's talk about mindset.
Mindset is the foundational thing. Like if your mind, it means like your point of view, like how you process life. And if you process life in the wrong way or with an old mindset or a poor, if your mindset is conditioned to lack or poor, meaning passing over opportunities repeatedly, then you won't get anywhere. Your mindset is the foundation of everything. I think the chapter is called Mindset, the starting point of all change. That's what it is. So the mindset is so important. I talk about how in the book of Numbers, there was 2 people that had a different mindset than everybody else when they sent 12 spies in. 2 people saw it, as we can conquer this.
Yes.
And 10 people saw it as, they see us as grasshoppers. And the mindset of the 10 people caused them to miss out on the whole thing.
Yes.
All right, but the mindset of the 2 people, they went and conquered. They went and did what their mindset said they could do. So that's so important. The mindset is foundational.
Powerful, powerful. So multiple streams. I know you mentioned from mindset to multiple streams. Talk about what that looks like in terms of your life, maybe your personal testimony about multiple streams, and some nuggets or strategies for other people looking to create multiple streams.
Ecclesiastes 11, I think it's verse 6. It says, in the morning sow your seed, but in the evening don't let your hand be idle. Because you don't know which will succeed, whether this or that. In verse 1 of that same chapter, it talks about invest in 6 ventures, yes, in 7, because you don't know what turmoil may come on the land. So it's so important to have more than one thing that can feed you.
Yes.
In case something goes wrong or whatever the case may be. Right now, I'm a real estate agent, but I'm selling books.
Yes.
Hey, I'm an Uber driver sometime that I do that on the side. And I'm working on developing other skills and stuff that I can do other things with. Invest, those type of things. So it's just so important. I talk about how King Solomon had a whole empire that he built. He had something else I'm developing, a speaking business, right?
Yes.
He said people came from far to hear his wisdom, and they paid him to hear what he had to say. He had a transportation company. He said he had horses and chariots in other cities. He had investments that came in once a year. He had investments that came in every 3 months.
Yes.
It's just all kind of different stuff that they have going on. But it just takes time to build, educate yourself.
Yes.
And don't be afraid to let it go. Don't be afraid to let money go.
Yes.
So many times we hold money like this, but can't nothing get in, but can't nothing get out.
Yeah.
But the thing is, can't nothing get in. You can't be afraid to let it go. And that's the point I want to come back to.
I want to touch on something you just mentioned, which was the speaking business. And you mentioned Solomon, that people traveled to hear him speak because they wanted to know his wisdom. They wanted to hear his wisdom. A lot of times people are anxious to get out here and do things, speak, kind of create a name and a brand. And we see that all the time, social media and things like that. But there's no substance. So talk with us, if you will. Again, I read your book. I know it's full of wisdom. Talk with us again about just the importance of having something valuable to say.
Yeah, it's important. But that goes back to that patience thing. To be able to be patient enough to get educated or let your experience work itself out so you can have something valuable to say.
Yes.
So that you're not up here talking foolishness. It's so important to be able to, people's attention span is short these days.
Yes.
They'll watch you for a little bit, and if it ain't adding up, or if your walk doesn't match your talk, they'll be out.
Yes.
And it's so quick people write a review on you so quick too.
Yes.
That'll just kill your whole situation. So it's important to just be patient enough to build a story. Get to the point where you have some wisdom. Wisdom, it comes from the Lord. He can give it to you instantly, but most of the time it comes from your situation.
Absolutely.
It comes from years of whatever you were going through.
Yes.
And not being afraid to share that wisdom. Does that make sense?
It does.
It makes a lot of sense. So, do you have any coaches or mentors, or do you believe in coaching and mentorship?
I do believe in that. I heard Dr. Mike Murdoch say it's 2 ways to learn: lessons, mistakes, and mentors. All right. So I believe Dr. Miles Monroe was a big impact.
Yes.
My pastor, Pastor Dale, and I, we were in his mentorship program. And that just really helped catapult my mindset, just drastically. He was truly a man of purpose. He was an example of somebody that's just always on purpose. He wrote over 60 books.
Wow.
You know, you just never know. And then he died instantly like that. But he left all this wisdom and all this material and stuff that he had. So he was like the most major impact, I would think. And and also, you know, being connected to Pastor Liddell, he'll push you to another level as well. And being connected with you, I mean, you have different mentors in different areas.
Yes,
you might have a money mentor. You're my book mentor.
Yeah.
You know, you have a mentor when it comes to your nutrition, and so, you know, it may not be just one mentor, but mentorship is very important.
Yeah.
And coaching and being coachable and teachable.
Yes, absolutely.
So, like, what's next for you? Your big next. What's your big next?
My big next, I want to really get to the pushing this book and have more speaking engagements.
Yes.
Being able to allow people to hear the wisdom of God that the Lord has given me. And that's really it. What's next? Well, the next thing is speaking at My Message Matters conference in Jacksonville.
Woo!
In
Yay!
July.
Yes.
And just continuing to build, to move forward.
Absolutely. So I know we've talked quite a bit about the book, and before we kind of continue the conversation, can you tell people where to find the book?
Yeah, the book is available on Amazon.com in paperback and as well as ebook. Also, you can find it on my website, www.rodrickwaddle.com. That's RODRICKWADDLE.com. And also, you can, if you see me, you can, you know, inbox me on social media, and we'll get a copy to you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And what's social media handle? How can they find you on social media?
So my public figure page on Facebook is Rodrick Waddle. Also, Rodrick Lloyd Waddle is my other page, and also on Instagram, Rod_Waddle. I'm on Instagram.
Beautiful. So we have some more time. We'll kind of
So,
walk through a few more things.
On the other side of money, I heard you start talking about real estate, that you do real estate.
Yeah, I'm a realtor.
Let's talk a little bit about real estate and being a realtor.
It's challenging, but it's also rewarding.
Right, so what should people know? Like, if I'm in the process of saying, hey, I want a piece of real estate, a piece of property, what's my next step? What should I do?
You want to make sure you have your credit and your financing are lined up.
Okay.
Or get with somebody, you know, the company I work with, they teach us all about financing and the ins and outs of that. A lot of realtors don't know that part. So get with somebody that can coach you to get you where you need to get to. Because if your financing and your credit are not in line, or if your financing is not in place, then you won't be able to move forward on that. So credit and financing will be your first steps.
So financing is pre-approval. That's what you mean by financing? Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, what's some many steps that people can do that, you know, like taking care of credit problems that can really help them go to the next level?
Many steps.
Like many steps. What can people do?
First, you know, get caught up on everything.
What you said? You behind? Just get caught up. Okay.
That's basic.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, getting caught up. Make sure you know where you are first.
Okay.
You know, that's the first step. Know what your scores are. Really know where you stand with your whole financial situation.
Yeah.
You know how much debt you're in. Know how much money you actually have available. That's something that the scripture says too. You know well the condition of your flocks and your herds. You know, you got to know where you stand. So the first step is knowing where you stand, and then be able to get coaching to get to where you need to get to.
Yeah.
I like know where you stand because I found out that a lot of people don't want to know where they stand.
Yes.
Look at it.
Like,
You
it's
gotta
a
look at the
scary
other picture.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a scary thing to know where you stand.
Right.
With anything, even just getting on the scales for weight. But no, seriously, like with money, you know, and saying, hey, I need to pay this off, and my student loan is this much, and to really sit down and look at it.
Yeah.
And
People
a
need
lot
to
of
know that student loans affect your ability to buy a house.
Yeah.
right.
They'll attribute whatever amount your student loan is, they'll attribute a 1% payment. Like they'll add it to what your monthly payments are on your credit report, and it affects your debt to income ratio, which affects how much house you can qualify for.
Yeah.
Right. And another thing I think that especially young people, what we don't realize is no credit is bad credit. Right? So I know a lot of people that say, well, I really don't want to go out and get credit cards, and I really don't want to go out and do this. But then when you go to get a house, and I've had this happen to a friend, you go to get a house and you go to get a car, you have no credit. You have a job with no credit at all. So just the little steps of going out and getting a little bit of credit.
Yeah, I think it's easier to build from no credit than
Yeah, it
it is from bad.
Right.
You know, so you know if you can get at least 2 good trade lines on your credit report, your scores will jump up. The top 2 things that they look at when scoring credit is just how you pay your bills and how you manage your revolving accounts, which is credit card accounts. Now, credit cards are the things that can help your credit score the most, or can get you in the most trouble if you're not disciplined. So it's important to be able to manage those correctly. and at least have, you know, you want to have 12 months of good payment history, pay your bills on time. 30 days late is late. You know, and 30 days late is the worst thing you can have on your credit report.
Wow.
Because in some loan programs, it can set you back a whole year being able to qualify. Because they want to see 12 consecutive months.
Yes.
You know, so yeah, those top two things are how you pay your bills and managing your revolving balances.
Awesome.
That's the other side
Yes,
of money.
that's money. Talking
The
money.
other side of money. Are there any programs out there that our viewers that you know that they can use?
Yeah, well, the company, my broker, is called newhomeprograms.com, and we have all type of different programs. We have a free credit enhancement program that we offer to people. It's free.
Wait, a free what? A free what?
It's called credit enhancement program.
Credit enhancement
Well,
program
you know,
for free, guys, for free.
It's free to our clients. You gotta be our client.
Yeah.
Okay,
Uh-oh.
all right.
Don't
Clean
have us,
that up.
Don't have us fix your credit and then you go buy somebody else.
Okay, well now on that we talked about how to get you for the book, but if we want to get you to buy a house or clean our
Yeah.
credit up, what do we need to do?
Okay. Well, social media as well. I have a realtor page, Roderick Waddle Realtor.
Okay.
But my website, roderick.houston.newhomeprograms.com.
Give them that again.
Yeah, Roderick.Houston, RODRICK.Houston.newhomeprograms.com. You can reach me on the website. My contact information is on there.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah. We needed to walk down there, didn't we?
So do they
Yes.
have any like money down programs out there, like
Yeah.
where they can get a little? Tell us.
Well,
about a few of
the
those.
down payment assistance programs.
Okay.
Your score has to be at least 620
Okay.
to qualify for down payment assistance, and those cover 3 up to 8% of a down payment.
Wow.
So
Okay.
in some cases, we have people that are able to get into a house with only 0.5% down.
Wow.
We also have things that can help cover your closing costs as well. That lenders can actually give you to help.
Okay.
Credits that can give you to actually help with your closing costs. So I had a client that we closed a couple weeks ago. She came to close on only $979.
Okay.
And she bought a whole house.
Whole house. You sure it wasn't half?
Right. So there are those type of programs, but your credit scores have to be up to par to be able to qualify for it.
You said about a 620.
620, but we try to get everybody to 640.
Okay.
At 640, you qualify for everything that's available.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, like on the mortgage side, a 640 is just as good as an 800. You qualify for everything at 640.
Okay.
It's really good.
Yes, awesome. So I know we are kind of winding up on our time, and I want to touch back. I know we've talked about real estate, but I want to go back to your book to kind of close us out, and talking specifically. And this is something you touch on in your book, actually, about money management. I think that's one of your chapters, right? But I want to kind of get some strategies, and so this is all about solutions and strategies around personal development. What can you share with us about strategies to develop personally?
Well, we talk about money management, discipline. If you don't tell your money what to do, it will leave.
Okay.
So,
Say that again.
Yes.
If you don't what?
if you don't tell your money what to do, it'll leave.
Your money will leave.
It'll go to somebody that will manage it, right? So,
Yes.
oh, go ahead.
Look, say that one more time.
That's a good one.
Yeah, if you don't tell your money what to do, it'll leave and it'll go to somebody else that will tell it what to do. It wants to be commanded. It's built to be commanded.
Yeah.
But so many times it commands us. So I would encourage everybody, take authority over your money by just putting a budget in place. A budget is not.
That's a big word.
It doesn't mean you
Budget
poor.
for women is a
like
big
that.
word.
Right. It doesn't mean you poor or nothing, and it doesn't mean you can't spend. It just means that, okay, I know what I'm going to spend before I even get it. Right? You tell your money where to go before you get it. I heard John Maxwell say a budget is telling your money where to go versus wondering where it went. So, in strategies as far as building yourself personally, what atmosphere are you in the most? What books are you reading? What are you listening to the most? So get exposure. Expose yourself to some different things. Go to conferences. Learn some different things, and that's how you start to develop personally. That's how your internal atmosphere starts to match what you're starting to see now. And that's why so many people stay in certain areas of town, never leave that side of town. Because it's kind of all they're accustomed to. But I challenge you to expand your horizons and really stretch yourself. And once you stretch your thinking, you can't ever go back. Travel. It's another way.
Yes.
Once you stretch your mindset, you can never go back to its original state.
So what would you say? So I heard you say, just encouraging people to get in new rooms, like go to events, go to conferences and things like that. What about people who just feel like they're too shy? They're not outgoing. They don't, they feel uncomfortable to interact with other people. What would you say about, to someone who is shy and who feels, kind of fright and terror about going into a room to network, because that's really what getting into new rooms is about, right?
Yeah. Well, you don't have to start off talking to nobody. I mean, get in the room first.
Yes.
Get in the room and over time, your confidence will build. I started off like that.
Yes.
And now I'm sitting here talking to y'all.
Yes.
But the first thing, getting in the room. And over time, you start to grow. You start to develop. You start to have something to say.
Yeah.
And then at some point, you're going to have to test your wings. Right, you're gonna have to start talking at some point.
Yes.
You can't stay shy. You can stay shy, but I mean, at some point you gotta speak up.
Yeah.
You gotta start to break out of that stuff, and then it'll be a thing of the past. I remember the year 2009 was kind of the year when I really started to. The Lord kind of had me start to, just speak more, kind of break out of. My first sermon I did was at church was in 2009.
Okay.
You could tell how nervous I was if you listened to it. Right? I was like reading off the paper every word. But I never went back to that sense. And now it's way different now. So I would say be easy on yourself, but get in the room first. And give yourself time to develop.
So I will kind of tie up with this is just a follow-up question about getting in the room. Was there ever like a pivotal moment in your coming into the room between that time and you getting the courage to speak up and really command your presence in the room?
I think the pivotal time was around 2011. I went to a conference and I said, this time, I'm gonna pay attention, pay close attention to the people that are really on the stage, the people that are winning, and I'm gonna just observe what's different about them. So I was like, that's the first time I went and I wasn't just caught up in the hoorah. Yeah. Right, I'm gonna pay attention, and I noticed that they walked differently. They were more confident. That they spoke more confidently. Man, they walked differently.
Yeah,
right? I said that twice.
Yeah.
I was like, no, what is this? And that's when I really got started. It's personal development.
Yeah.
These people have exposed themselves to something different. They're listening to something different than what I'm listening to. And at that point, I cut off 97.9 The Box. I cut off all that other stuff, and I just started. If it wasn't the Word of God, if it wasn't some type of audio book, if it wasn't a book I was reading, it wasn't going in me.
Yeah.
And that pivotal point, it took years to change. Some of the things that would come out of me. Right, but that was a pivotal point when I started to change what was going in me, and I saw the difference that now I walk different.
Yeah,
I walk a step faster than I used to.
Okay.
I got a little more confidence than I used to.
Yeah.
So that was around 2011, and now we're in 2019. That's 8 years ago. So it takes time to do that.
Yeah.
Because you're diluting out the old stuff that was in there. Like you put some dye in this water. The only way to get it out is to pour more water in it and let it overflow out. And that's kind of the process that I started back then.
I love that analogy.
Okay, well.
Okay, we are just about at our time.
We want to thank you for coming in and watching another episode of Your Talk Time with
Lindsy Bivens
and Sonjia Pelton-Sam. Make sure that you follow us on Facebook at
Your Talk Time.